Happy New Year. First meeting of the Housing Committee. Today is Wednesday, January 18th, 2017. Room 1060, Los Angeles City Hall, 1:15 on the dot. I am joined by my colleagues, Mr. Wisad, Mr. Harris Dawson, and the incomparable one and only Senator Councilman Curran Price. That's what we say. Okay. Item number one. I have to make this statement just for a matter of the record, and it is with respect to open public comment period. A member of the public speaking on more than one agenda shall be allowed to speak for up to 1 minute per item, up to a total of 2 minutes per meeting. This will be the only opportunity to speak other than during general public comment. For those members of the public who have submitted speaker cards for more than one committee agenda item. General public comment is for non-agenda items within subject matter. Each speaker shall be limited to 1 minute of general public comment per meeting. Maximum time for one speaker on multiple agenda items and general public comment is 3 minutes. We have public comment now. Let's begin with public comment from Mr. Michael Millman. Please join us.
Thank you. Happy New Year's. A couple of my friends got together. They're realtors and apartment owners, and they say, why does the city council in LA doesn't give us much love and we feel rejected? We'd like to have the same type of, like the tenants had their day, we'd like to come here, not be limited to 1 minute, present our agendas, get some feedback, and that's all we'd like to do. And I told them, yes, I'm sure that the leadership would accommodate them. After all, you're very involved in California. You raise $11 million for the realtors, $6 million for the apartment owners. Certainly they'll give you a morning to have a little Danish and coffee and have their sessions like we gave the tenants. I said, I'll come down here, remind my friends about fairness and fair play, and that's all I really have to say. I hope you accommodate my friends.
We would be happy to. I'll speak for myself, but I would be happy to. Obviously, I appreciate what they do. We have a housing crisis in Los Angeles, but guess what? The city doesn't build housing, nor does it manage much of housing. And we depend and rely on this interdependency with the apartment association, with other managers, and with developers. Frankly, we don't build housing, and we rely on them to build the housing that we need. So we look forward. You know my number, you have my information, and we are available to engage them at any...
I'll contact I used to contact Jennifer Rivera, but
Yeah, no, don't contact her. Don't contact her. She'll do an audit on you if you do.
Thank you for your time. Jennifer Rivera was very generous.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next. No, wait till item 3. Item 1.
Mr. Chair, item 1, appointment of Ms. Rebecca Platas to the Commission for Community and Family Services.
Yes. Split this. Please come up front. Play this. I'm not going to say any jokes. Just come up. Good to see you today. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yep. You have a big resume, so now you're adding to it. And we're here to hear your interests and what we're going to do together.
I wrote that a few remarks so I don't go off on a diatribe. I tend to do that.
Yes, sir.
So, Chairman Cedillo, fellow council members, I'm honored to be considered for this commission. I truly am, and I'm excited to serve the people of the city. The more I learn about this commission, the more excited I am to be a part of this work. My number one value is family. And for background purposes, my personal story, I'll start with my own family. Daughter of immigrant parents who were undocumented when they crossed the border. However, they provided as much as they could to provide for 4 girls. And who are now contributing actively to society. One of my sisters is serving in the U.S. Army, and another sister is a public servant for another city. And I also have a 14-month-old son, and just last week learned that my husband and I are expecting a little girl. So we are expanding our own family. Thank you. On a professional level, I've been involved serving families in different capacities, from public policy, working for a congressman, into most recently a community health center here in the communities of Boyle Heights and Pico Union. And I truly believe that I have the background to serve in this commission and to continue the work that previous commissioners have set forth in this commission. And I'm really excited, above all. I am excited to be involved in a meaningful way, and working with communities is something I'm incredibly passionate about, and I'm just thrilled. So thank you for your consideration.
Colleagues.
Just let me say you're a glutton for punishment, and we appreciate it. Seriously, just appreciate your willingness to serve. We know that you've been an activist on many levels for a long time, and I think you're well poised to make a significant contribution to this commission, and I look forward to supporting you in council.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Councilmember.
Mr. Wisat?
Yes, well, thank you for your willingness to volunteer of your time, given the time commitments to family and your regular work. This certainly is appreciated by the city, and bringing your wealth of experience and your life experience, I think, is just as important as your professional experience in bringing to the table about the needs of this city. So you mentioned your parents. As immigrants, and people often forget that the city is comprised now of over 45% foreign-born individuals, and if we want to reflect the needs and wants of this population, decision makers are also looking to be represented as well in the commissions and everything else the commissions represent for our public. So thank you for your willingness to serve.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Mr. Harris-Dawson? Good, good. Well, one of our most appropriate appointments and nominees by the mayor, we are happy to move this on consent. Moved. So moved? So be the order.
Mr. Chair, would you like to go to item number 2?
Yes, please.
Item 2 is an HCID report relative to a contract with Urban Futures Bond Administration for housing occupancy monitoring services.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Nick Campbell with the CAO.
Britannia Murillo, Housing Department, HSID.
Housing Community Investment Department.
The item before you is a request from Housing to negotiate and execute a contract with Urban Futures Bond Administration for affordable housing occupancy monitoring services. The proposed contract would be for an amount not to exceed $950,000 with an initial contract term from retroactive to January 1 through December 31st of this year, with 2 one-year renewal options. The Urban Futures was chosen through an RFP process, and then the only other requests in this report are for administrative items related to new accounts for paying the contract. This office agrees with the recommendation of the department and notes that there is no impact to the general fund. For any questions.
Just a quick question.
Yes.
Quick question. So, kind of, what's the nature of the monitoring? I mean, this is a big contract. I mean, it's like, are they doing spot checks, or they're going through files, or they're sending folks out into the field, or just?
I would, on the detail, I'd defer to.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious how the monitoring will occur.
What the service contract performs is on an annual basis. We verify primarily that the rent and income restrictions of any restricted property are being met. So a manager or an owner would report to the service provider on the set number of units and verify that the rent and income restrictions are being followed. There's also site visits that are required by some of the funding sources.
Thank you.
Do you you have a report? Or you gonna concur, or?
We concur with CEO's recommendations.
You know, we're just came through this very rigorous process with the waste franchise agreements. And so we have this kind of ongoing concern about how contracts are procured with the city. And so that's just now kind of across the board for all of us, at least for me. And so I have some basic questions like the multilingual capacity of Urban Futures. Will they have a site in Los Angeles? Why aren't we, or are we, I don't know, presumptions, doing enough outreach to take advantage of all the local talents and make sure that when we're letting out contracts that we're doing so that provides opportunities in the city of Los Angeles for city vendors so that we can get that multiplier effect in terms of the contracts and expenditures that we make.
Hi, Councilman. There's, I think, a couple answers. First of all, the contractor that we selected is here and can answer a lot of specific questions about how they can serve and how they have been serving the community, and we can call them up for that. The process that, and we've also got our procurement folks here from the department, the process that we go through in the department, I think, has become more open and rigorous in recent years. So I think it's a standardized process. We advertise through LABABN, and that tracks everybody that looks at the contract, how many times they look at the application. So we've got we know who's been looking at it. And, in fact, the folks, in order to make sure that it's fair, the folks that will manage the contract don't necessarily participate much in the procurement to make sure we don't influence it in any way, so we have other people in the department do that. And so I think, along the lines of what you're talking about, I think the department's already making strides in that direction, and we've done that for this procurement, and I'd say we've been doing that now for a couple of years.
Is the contractor here?
Yeah. We'll bring him up.
Hi. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
What can I do?
Tell us about your contract. Tell us how you've been more successful than other bidders. I don't know how long have we been engaged with you in terms of.
I think we've had,
Your name, please.
I'm sorry, Brianne Fraser with Urban Futures Bond Administration.
Pull the microphone a little bit.
Marshall Lynn with Urban Futures Bond Administration. So we have, I think we have had three rounds of contracts with the city.
Length of those contracts?
They've been 3 years, so the 1-year term, the 2-year renewals. I believe that's been the consistency of the contract, the historical consistency. We've been in business since 1980.
Actually been in business since 1972. So we've been doing this a long, long time, and we're very, very dedicated to this. Our entire staff, this is all that we do. We want to just be the best within the state of California. And I think we are the best within the state of California. We're in a tremendous amount of money in a very, very high-tech system, which has allowed us to keep the costs at a level. Make sure to give possible for the property owners to access us either by phone, online, or what have you. So we're extremely hands-on. We look at the
And you have this multi-language capacity that you're interested in. What languages are you guys offering services?
Spanish, Farsi, I believe. Those are the two main languages.
What about Tagalog, Chinese, Vietnamese, Korean?
don't have anybody with those language skills at this point.
You have an office in Los Angeles?
We are contemplating putting an office in the city of Los Angeles. The purpose of the job will be to run all of the audits that we have to do in the various departments. We have had in the past option program, and we will hire people for that.
Where are you located now?
We're in Oregon.
You mentioned, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Give us an idea how many are on staff, kind of just an idea what the diversity looks like, and who's going to be actually managing this project.
So we have a staff of 13 employees. 20% of our employees do reside in the city boundaries. We are multicultural. We have Latino, African American, Filipino. We're mostly female oriented in our industry. We have most of our leadership is female. What else can I speak to?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. This is more questions for our department as it is for you, but we are. What do you attribute your success? I mean, you've gotten 3 rollovers.
You know, we really focus on staying at the top of our business, making sure that we're informed of policy changes, both federally, statewide, locally. We have invested heavily in a compliance monitoring system online that is accessible to create the efficiencies to keep the cost of the monitoring down. And we have not increased our fees in a number of years. So we really work to strive to stay at the top of the compliance industry and stay ahead of technology so that we can be cost effective.
How big's your company?
We have right now a staff of 13.
And that's the entirety of your company. Okay. Thank you.
One other comment, please. One of the things that everybody that works with us, they work with the city of Los Angeles, through our client, we consider all the departments clients, they respect and answer promptly, and we're here to help. We feel that we're an extension of the city of Los Angeles and represent them in a very kind manner. Very, very
Thank you. Okay, thank you. This is, comment first or two? Okay, can we hear from, Leah? Hi, Leah, how are you?
I just want to make sure I'm at the right one. This is the general fund coming from the federal government. Is that number 3 or 2?
2.
I'm asking, is the fund from the federal government number 2 or number 3?
Number 3.
Or can I move that to number 3 then?
I'll do it.
Thank you.
It's okay. Wayne, is this you, Puppet? Please join us. Was it the Isley Brothers or the Aaron Neville or Puppet?
Yeah, I mean, basically, he likes to speak at these meetings,
So,
Well, go ahead.
choose either one.
Well, go ahead.
Thank you.
Wasting fucking time.
All right, now. Oh, hi, Marchese. Did you get served yet? Yeah, anyway. Oh, you can tell them to call me back their price, yes. Anyway, too many questions on the contract. Too many questions. The policy of Mr. Wesson on all the committee meetings is to approve without questions everything. So that means if you make it here, you'll make it anywhere. New York, LA, New York, New York. So It's good. They'll spend $950,000 to do what? Absolutely nothing, which is what I'm going to do too. So join all of us here and get paid to do nothing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have a recommendation to adopt the CLO report and instruct HCID consultation with CLA to conduct a review and assessment of its RFP procurement process and outreach to local small businesses. Feasibility of more than one vendor given size of city's portfolio. Report back within 90 days on the results and recommendations to improve competitiveness of the city's RFP process and responsiveness from local entities to our RFP. That's our recommendation. Is there a second for that? Second. Consensus? So will be the order.
Okay, this is item 3. Item 3, Mayor's Office proposed budget for the 43rd program year of the Housing and Community Development Consolidated Plan.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, council members. My name is Jackie Rodriguez. I'm with the Mayor's Office of Economic Opportunities. The Mayor's 43rd Program Year Housing and Community Development Consolidated Plan budget was released on January 13th. I will call it the con plan from now on. The con plan.
Repeat that.
The con plan.
Yeah, con plan.
Yeah,
Number
the 43rd. So the comp plan consists of CDBG funding, Community Development Block Grant Funds, Emergency Solutions Grant, also known as ESG, Home Investment Partnership Act, also known as HOME, and HOPWA, which is Housing Opportunities for Persons Living with AIDS. These are federal government dollars that come from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. For the 43rd year comp plan, we approximately have $125 million. It's just slightly increased from last year. Most of that is in the HOPWA line items. Attachment B provides a line item budget for the 43rd program year. This process started in September of 2016 when the Mayor's Office released a letter inviting applications for funding requested for the 43rd program year. Similar to last year, applications for new projects were limited to economic development and neighborhood improvement projects. HCID and the Housing and Community Family Services Commission convened community meetings to inform the general public about the action plan process, solicit their input. Meetings were held in South Los Angeles and the Valley area. Attachment F has a summary of the public comments received in these meetings. This year, we received approximately 135 requests, totaling about $213 million. As you can see, these are roughly about half of the money that was available for all of the funds that we have. As the Consolidated Plan Administrator, HCID did review all applications for funding eligibility and project readiness. Funding recommendations are based on department review for eligibility and readiness, as well as alignment with Consolidated Plan goals and community input. This year, the city is facing a challenge with timeliness of expenditures yet again. HUD does require that the city retain no more than 1.5 times of its annual CDBG entitlement 2 months prior to the end of the program year, which would be January 30th for our program year.
Where are we now?
We are at 1.67 based on, as they ran the report January 17th, so that was yesterday. However, there was a motion that was passed, and when that motion is implemented, it should solve our timeliness program by January 30th. It's critical, more importantly, even now, that all the projects that we do recommend are shovel-ready, so that we can not have the timeliness issue going forward. We also have Attachment D, which is CDBG Future Priority Project, which is a multi-year future project list for ongoing cycles. So projects that are anticipated to be shovel-ready can be placed on the list. However, they cannot be funded until they're ready to begin, so that they can only spend, they are allocated what they're spending per year, or depending on when the funding is needed. HUD has issued guidance for grantees advising them not to submit their action plan until after the fiscal year 2017. Allocation formulas have been announced. In discussion with the CDBG working group, which consists of CLA, CAO, HSID, Mayor's Office, CD1 as well, the recommendation is to continue the approval process to ensure that the city's plan is ready to be submitted as soon as those entitlements are released. We do not want to be in the situation where we are delaying the approval process and delaying even these funds to be on the, out in the streets any more than we need to. The mayor looks forward to working collaboratively with the council in this process, and we thank you for your time and are happy to answer any questions if I can.
Okay. Mr. Harris Austin? Mr. Masad?
Questions? I understand you may make some amendments. Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Mr. Price? Okay. I don't see a card from you, sir. Leah on number 3, and Maria Brenes.
Hi,
Leah?
how are you? My name is Leah. So I understand you're taking some large federal grants, and certainly the people of the City of Los Angeles deserve the grants. But I'd like to bring to your attention that in CD11 there's an epic failure to uphold the law and to uphold constitutional rights of the low-income people and the people to be subject to earthquake problems. And you have, unfortunately, I've been subjected to the lack of due process and notice and been extraordinarily harmed in it, and have 4 years of documents where I can show that they're falsifying documents and altering documents and denying people notice and due process. And you even have a building and safety department that's abdicating their responsibility, and you've got a city councilman whose office says they're monitoring the situation. Well, they've been monitoring the criminal activity for 4 years, and I want you to uphold the written law, and if you don't, please know that you're subject to all the federal laws because you're taking federal money. And I would really like to go back to work, and I can't work because I'm stuck in this process. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Leah. Maria Brenes?
Good afternoon, LA City Council members and Chairman Cedillo. My name is Maria Brenes. I'm the Executive Director for Inner City Struggle. We are a social-based nonprofit in the east side of Los Angeles, and we have been working with young people and families, and we are really excited to continue our work from the last 23 years by having launched a capital project. We were successful in fundraising for the purchase of a commercial property in Boyle Heights on Whittier Boulevard. We are very grateful to Councilmember Jose Huizar for his support of our CDBG requests in order to launch a renovation of the facility, a $2 million renovation to make the facility functional for the community. We are requesting the full $600,000 in this first year. We are ready to complete the project successfully, and we hope to have your support. Oh, one last thing, if I can add also, we do have some additional fundraising we have to do to reach our $2 million, and we're confident that by securing this request, we can complete the budget and the project. Thank you so much.
Okay, ready? Direct the CLA, recommendation, direct the CLA to, 1, report back at our second February meeting on the mayor's proposed 43rd program plan with assistance of the CAO. Make the following corrections and revisions to attachment B, row 83, correct project name to Glasshouse Park Transit Pavilion, and City Department to BOE. Row 85, Hollenbeck Park improvements, revised PY 43, amount to $400,000. And row 87, Intercity Struggle Revised, PY 43 amount to 600,000. So that's number 2. Number 3, identify 200,000 to augment the recommendation PY 43 allocation for Van Nuys Orient Street Lighting Project and CD6 to complete another street segment to combat prostitution that plagues this community. Number 4, review the PY 42 council directions and ensure departments comply. And finally, review recently programmed CDBG projects and projects on the CDBG priority list for inclusion in the project year budget.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to take a moment to go on the record to thank everybody in the chairman's office, the mayor's office, office of the council president, all the council members for putting together a good package for us this year. It's a heavy administrative lift, and there's so many good, amazing things happening in our city, from the east side to the harbor, all the way to the valley. And so this is one of those things that you're proud to cast an enthusiastic yes vote on.
Okay. Move second. Consent. It's done. Are you done with public comment? Sir. We are done. Motion to adjourn? Move. Congratulations, everybody.